Hey everyone. Okay, I wanted to touch base because a lot of people have asked me about coronavirus and breastfeeding. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about coronavirus and breastfeeding. And as I look at myself on camera here, there's a bunch of books. I actually had ants. I don't know if you saw my Instagram stories last week. I had a bunch of ants and my walls actually got painted. So it used to be this like burnt orange and now it's blue. So there's totally lots of stuff. There's also a magic wand in the background. I don't know. Plenty of stuff. So if you're wondering about coronavirus and breastfeeding, this is the video for you. Now, a lot of parents are wondering about coronavirus and breastfeeding. They're expecting, they have a new baby, they're in the midst of a coronavirus outbreak in their community right now, and are unsure what to do. We know that babies are more susceptible to infections because their immune systems aren't as well developed, and we want to make sure that we're protecting them. First and foremost, we do not know a lot about coronavirus and breastfeeding. We're making things up not as we go, but nearly that because we just don't know. We don't have enough data and enough time to say definitively what the right choice is for moms that are planning on breastfeeding or are breastfeeding and have coronavirus. The American Academy of Pediatrics, the CDC, the WHO, everyone has been starting to put out guidelines and recommendations. They're not all quite the same, but I'm going to talk about the American Academy of Pediatrics' newest guidelines because those apply to most of my audience, which are people that live in the States and have the opportunity to breastfeed in a resource-rich country like ours, whereas the WHO, the World Health Organization, looks at more of the whole world and what the recommendations are worldwide, where many countries don't have the same resources that we do, and so their guidelines differ a little bit because of that. Now, what we know is, in general, rates of transmission during the time of birth are thought to be low. And it's unclear if moms can pass coronavirus, if they're infected, if they can pass it to their baby while in utero, meaning baby has no coronavirus, mom gets coronavirus, and then baby contracts it while still in the womb. We don't know if that's the case. As far as I know, there haven't been any documented cases of that. And we know that during the delivery process or as we prepare for delivery, that the rates are low. Now, one of the first things that the new guidelines talk about is birth attendants. So if a mom has coronavirus, birth attendants should wear masks and gowns and all the protective equipment that they can to protect themselves because the birth process is an aerosolizing procedure. I mean, mom is pushing, there's all sorts of aerosolization of droplets which can have coronavirus. And so we want to protect those that are present at birth, whether it be the OB, the nursing staff, the partner that's in the room as well. Those people should wear masks and gowns to protect them. And then the real question comes is what to do after baby has been delivered. Now, what the guidelines from the American Academy of Pediatrics say is that baby and mom ideally should be separated, which is just a huge, tough thing to tell moms and babies and parents of newborn babies. But what we know is that separation after birth helps protect against transmission from mom to baby of coronavirus. We don't have enough data on how babies do with coronavirus to say definitively it's okay if they catch coronavirus, so we're going to err on the side of protecting them in a resource-rich country. Now, as I look at the guidelines right now, what I'm seeing is some places cannot separate. They can't have the baby in a separate nursery and not be around mom because their healthcare system is overwhelmed. In which case, what they should do is try and keep baby away from mom. Ideally, some sort of separate room, separate divider, 6 feet distance, so that the likelihood of transmission is decreased. The biggest question that parents have is, can we still breastfeed? In an ideal situation, what the guidelines recommend is have mom express milk, pump or hand express, mostly pumping, I imagine, and feed baby, have somebody else feed baby the pumped milk. Now, that's not always possible, and that's really a tough thing to say is you just went through this whole birthing process, you went through 9 months of pregnancy before that, and now you can't hold your baby, you can't nurse your baby, and that's been something that you've been looking forward to. So I totally understand where parents are coming from when this is really a tough pill to swallow. So what I would counsel my patients is a couple things. First and foremost, talk this over with your partner, talk it over with your OB, talk it over with your pediatrician, decide what's right for you and your family based on your values and the risks in your community, and then go with that decision. Do not second guess yourself. You will get guilt regardless of what you do. There is no way not to have people pour guilt upon you for deciding to nurse, deciding not to nurse, deciding to separate, deciding not to separate, all those things. You're going to get guilt poured on you. Make the decision, say this is right this is what's right for us, this is what we're going to do. You can always adjust your decision too and say, okay, I have coronavirus, I'm not going to nurse for a set period of time, and then I will return to nursing. Or I have coronavirus and I'm going to take safety measures, do the best I can, and continue to nurse. Whatever you decide, go with it. We don't have enough definitive data that you have to make this certain decision, or you'll be doing harm necessarily to your baby. We just don't know. And so I really would just stress, talk it over, think about your values, make the decision, and go with it. And don't tell anyone. It's not any of their business what you choose to do. And if you don't publicize it, then people are left to their own, and you're not responsible for their feelings or what they think about you or your choices. And so I would just not tell anyone. I would just keep it to yourself as much as you can, and then you don't have to worry about the guilt and be confident in your decision that you've made. Now, a lot of moms want to breastfeed, and a lot of I've talked with other mom doctors, and they said, I'm going to breastfeed. You're not going to stop me from breastfeeding even if I have coronavirus. The best thing to do in that case, if you say breastfeeding is important to me, I have coronavirus, but I want to keep breastfeeding, is wear a mask, hand sanitize, nurse the baby, nurse, sanitize everything you can so that if you've been coughing and those sort of things, you're leaving respiratory droplets on yourself. Clean every area that you can, nurse baby, and then after you've had your nursing, after you've had your cuddle, have somebody else take the baby and separate so that we're 6 feet distance. I think that is a very reasonable, safe measure that you can do and feel comfortable with your decision. Now, in an ideal world, you would pump, you would have somebody else feed the baby, you would wear a mask, you'd recover from coronavirus and then go back to nursing as normal. But that's not possible for everyone for all the reasons that I've already outlined. And so I don't want you to feel bad about that decision. If you decide it's important, nursing is important to me, skin to skin is important to me, just do the best that you can. We don't know how babies will respond to getting coronavirus as newborns. There just isn't enough data. There certainly have been cases. There's been plenty of cases because worldwide there's been so many cases that it's not possible that there haven't been a lot of cases of moms giving coronavirus to baby after delivery. It's just we know it's happening out there. We just don't have a lot of data on the outcomes of those babies. We know in general children do not have as severe disease from coronavirus as others. So hopefully we can extrapolate that over time and say, okay, babies are safe. If we take protective measures, we can loosen up these restrictions and allow for more permissive exposure because breastfeeding is best for babies, breastfeeding is best for moms, and it's worth the risk. Now, if you're recovering from coronavirus, it's likely that you're making antibodies, and we hope that in the process you will pass those antibodies to baby, and it could be protective against coronavirus for baby. Also, if you get coronavirus while you're pregnant, your body will make those antibodies, and then you'll pass those through the placenta to baby as well. So that is our hope, is that those things will be protective, just like getting immunizations during pregnancy helps protect baby as well. At the end of the day, we don't know a lot. And so that's why I urge you just to talk it over. Don't spend forever reading every online person's opinion on it, because that will not help you to make the right decision. It will fill you with guilt and doubt. Talk with your OB, talk with your partner, talk with your pediatrician, make a choice, go with the choice, get the support that you need with the choice that you've made. We also know, and one thing that I forgot to mention earlier, is that there hasn't been any evidence showing that coronavirus is in breast milk. So it's safe to feed your baby breast milk that's either been pumped or at breast if you've cleaned everything else off appropriately, because we don't see that coronavirus actually ends up in the breast milk. And so that is something that has been shown so far, is that there isn't passage. So giving breast milk from a mom that has coronavirus to the baby is not a way to transmit it. Now, there's lots of opportunities for respiratory droplets to pass in that whole process, so we're going to just do the best we can. If your baby ends up in the NICU related to coronavirus or unrelated to coronavirus, the recommendation is not to visit the baby in the NICU and to pump and give the milk to the nursing staff there to feed baby. That's another really hard thing, but we have to think about protecting both baby and all the other babies and parents in the NICU. There's just too many opportunities for exposure with all of that. So I know it's really tough, and this sucks, and this is a terrible time for new and expectant parents, because there's so much worry and so much concern. So like I said, make a decision, Don't tell anyone. Just do what's right for you, for your baby, for your family, and go from there. Keep up the good work. And please take a moment. If you know an expectant parent, share this video with them. I'm sure it will be helpful to them to get that information and to help in the decision-making process, because it is really tough. Take care.